Hey guys, welcome back. So in the last video, we were talking about how to create a linear queue and how to insert data in a linear queue. Hope you have understood that concept. Now in this video, let's see how to dequeue an element from a linear queue. So as we have already seen that queue basically follows FIFO method, that is first in first out. So if any element is coming in, only that element will be going out first. So let's say if we are inserted these numbers in this order, and if we want to dequeue an element, 10 is the first one which will go out, then 20 and then 30. We cannot take out 30 before 20 or 10. That is not possible. The only thing that can go out from a queue is the first element in the queue, then the second, third and so on. Now that's the same thing that we are saying over here. That is, first we'll check if queue is empty, then there is no question of dequeuing any element, so we'll simply return an error message. In case if there is at least one element in the queue, then what we'll do? We'll go and print the value that is stored in the cell number beginning of queue. So if you remember, we have two variables, that is beginning of queue and end of a queue. So beginning of a queue basically points to the first element of the queue and end of the queue points to the last element of the queue. So let's say if we have 10, 20, 30 over here, then end of the queue will point over here and beginning of the queue will be pointing over here. So in this case, what we'll do is print beginning of queue. So we'll print 10, this is done. Then we'll say beginning of queue plus plus. So now beginning of queue will start pointing to the next cell. So even if the value is still there in the array, we will simply ignore it because now the beginning of the queue is over here. Now there is one more condition that we need to check, that if the beginning of queue is more than end of the queue, that is if the last element has been dequeued, then we have to reset both of these variables. What that means is, let's say if we dequeue 20, then beginning of queue will start pointing over here. We'll put B over here. Now you see that there is only one element in this queue, and if we dequeue this element as well, then beginning of queue will start pointing over here and end of the queue will be pointing over here. So in this kind of a case, we will simply reset both of them and we will be pointing it to -1. That means the queue now is empty. Fine. So that is all about the dequeue operation. Now let's see the time and space complexity of this operation. So all of the statements that we see here are all constant time operations. So if we add all of them, we get time complexity order 1. Space complexity is also order 1 because we are not using any extra space for doing the dequeue operation. Fine. Now let's move on to the next operation of a queue. So the next operation is peek operation. So similar to stack operation, peek operation also do the same thing in queue. That is, it just returns the first item in the queue and it does not delete it from there. We just view it. So let's say if we have 10, 20 and 30 in this queue, if we do a peek operation, it will return 10, but it will not delete this 10 from this queue. So the same thing we do here, we simply print it. So we don't do any adjustment to beginning of queue variable. So now coming to time and space complexity of this algorithm, it is a constant time operation and space complexity is also order of 1. Now let's move on to the next operation, that is empty operation. So we check if the queue is empty or not using this variable beginning of queue. If it is pointing to -1, then we say that the queue is empty, else it is having at least one element in the queue. So let's say if our queue looks like this, 10, 20 and 30, beginning of queue will be pointing over here. If we delete 10, then beginning of queue will be pointing over here. The only condition when beginning of queue can point to -1 is when the entire queue is empty. So this condition will always give us true only when the queue is empty. Now if you want to see the time and space complexity, it is very simple. The time complexity is order 1 and space complexity is also order of 1 because we are not using any extra space. Now if you move to the next operation, that is full operation. So here we use the variable top of the queue. That is, If top of queue is pointing to the last cell in this array, only then we can say that the queue is full. So let's say if we have 10, 20 and 30 in this queue. So right now top of the queue or end of the queue will be pointing to this cell, so still it is not full. But in case if we insert few more numbers, then the top of queue will be pointing to the last element, and then we can say that the queue is full. Now let's say if we delete 10 from here and also 20 from here, so we have dequeued two elements. So in this case also the linear queue will tell us that the queue is full because it is pointing to the last cell, though we can see that two cells are empty. Now how we can overcome this problem? This we are going to discuss in circular queue chapter. So please hold on to that part. Now if you see the time and space complexity is order of 1 and space complexity is also order 1 because we are not using any extra space. Now coming to the last operation, that is deleting the entire queue. So for that all that we have to do is we have to make the array as null and the entire queue will get deleted. So to do this we only require order of 1 time. So time complexity is order 1, space is also order of 1. So now if we quickly recap that what are the operations that we have in linear queue and what are the time and space complexity of those operations. So if you see the space complexity, creation of queue involves order of n space because we create a blank array, and all of the other operations are all constant space complexity because they don't require any extra space. Whereas when we come to time complexity, all of these operations are constant time operations. Now these numbers are going to get extremely interesting when we are going to implement queue using a linked list. Then we'll see how does a implementation of a queue using an array have different complexity compared to implementing it using a linked list. So that we will see in the later videos. Fine. So with this we come to end of linear queue array implementation topic. In the next video, let's see what is a circular queue and why do we need it.